Hello everyone and welcome to my Mandarin Ducky's questions and answers. Today we're not going to have too many questions because there's only a few, but still very nice to reply, and actually one of them is quite long. So let's begin. What would be your suggestion to people who want to sell clay jewelry? I'm just gonna tell you my experience of how I started selling jewelry. First of all, I started selling, it was in a different country. It was in Latvia, where the whole city and the country is quite small, only 2 million people or something like that in the whole country. And I wasn't even using Facebook. I was using a website called Nr.3 which was our social media platform in Latvia, and so I started advertising amongst my friends and I didn't even have followers back then, just friends, by saying I'm just doing handmade things. And I had some pictures of things I made, and unfortunately I also listed some pictures which I just found online, which is not a good practice to do, but I did it. And so I started getting some clients asking me to do things, and it wasn't even with clay. So my first suggestion, I guess, if you already started making things, take pictures, and when you're ready to start selling things, show pictures to your friends online, and keep showing all of the progress, what are you doing in so that people know what you can make, because otherwise how will you advertise if you don't have any pictures? That's first. Then of course, if you decided to sell, you need to start producing the stock, the items that you want to sell. Don't make too much first. Decide where you want to sell it. My suggestion would be to sell it whether from your own website or Etsy. You can also try eBay, but I never tried eBay, so I can't say anything about it. I like buying things from eBay, but I never buy handmade things from eBay, because I think that eBay is good to buy supplies, some items for home, some creative things like tools, maybe some paints or things like that. But for creative things like clay jewelry, especially if you want to be appreciated for being an artist behind that jewelry piece, you have to go on Etsy or sell on your own website, develop it to look professional and all that stuff. Selling on Etsy is not easy when you just start, because it feels like you have done everything you could, but the sales just not coming. So I always been telling to my friends who were starting with Etsy that it is important to just hang in there, because Etsy has this kind of weird magic about it, and all my friends, when they realize that, they say, yeah, that's true. I don't know why it is like that, but when I listed a couple of items, maybe like I filled in the first page or first 2 pages with some items, it means there is already enough stock out there for people to see. But if you just listed it and went off, it's same as you put stuff in your shop and you went off. It's basically the shop is closed, you're not doing there anything. So I'm explaining it almost to my friends and you guys as well. It's almost like an energetical exchange. If you are coming into your shop and like picking things and doing things and trying maybe to improve the banner, improve the policies, the descriptions, client might not see that. If someone's searching, they don't see the descriptions or anything, but for some reason, when you put more effort into working on your shop, even if there's no sales, sales are coming. I can't explain why. Maybe Etsy even has this kind of weird system that says, ooh, the shop is constantly active, so maybe it helps you. Or maybe it's like the energies of the universe, you get what you give, you get in return. So it's quite hard, but obviously, of course, you have to have good photography. I have one of the videos in my videos. I have a video explaining very simple techniques to improve your photography, like the main mistakes people do. Also, when you take a picture, you would need to edit it as well online to make it look like your jewelry, because sometimes your camera is so bad or something, the lighting is not good enough, so you have to improve it so it looks like the piece. So you don't want to not underestimate, but you don't want to show your piece worse than it actually is, because so many times you see pictures like, oh my god, I can't even see it, it's blurry and everything, surely the real piece is much better. So you need to make sure on these things, but I'm not going to cover all that photography thing. There's another video saying about it. Photography. Description needs to be clear. It doesn't have to be like a lot, but it needs to be the size, the materials, all your tags. You know, when you put the tags in Etsy, you have to make sure they are correct ones. Like, so if it's polymer clay jewelry, then you write polymer clay, you write jewelry. You can write pendant, necklace, or earrings. You can specify occasion, for example, like Christmas earrings. This is, you know, if someone's searching for Christmas jumper or Christmas earrings, and not just searching for any, they're searching for particular ones. So if your art is particular, like octopus earrings or something like that, tentacles, or I don't know. So all these things. Overall style of your shop is also important, but these are all kind of secondarily things. They always say that people online, they're not buying your item, they're buying the beautiful picture that comes with a story. So if people get attached to the visual, and if the story about that visual is very beautiful, then putting that together, that's enough. People, of course, are interested that whatever they will receive looks as good as on the picture, or even better. And when they're going to be wearing it, they keep remembering the story, and if they are emotional, romantic people, they will keep that story to everyone. I had that many times, and that is really important. Also, it's important in your social media when you start gathering followers. Keep you know, telling these stories to people as well, because if they can't buy your items yet, it's still very nice for them to know what kind of person you are, what kind of stories you tell. So meaning what's inside your heart, what can come out of your soul, and you know, how can you inspire people. So when you are selling, and actually in general, if you are an artist and you want to go out there and show people something, selling is kind of irrelevant. As an artist, you really want to show to people and be appreciated. If we wouldn't need to use money in this world, who would care about money or selling? We would just want people to say, oh, this is so good, this is so amazing. It's really this whole story and how it looks, it's like it's so parallel to what's going on in my heart. You know, I feel that connection with you. That's important. So the selling aspect is only important because we live in this material world where everything is sold for money. But most of the time before, people were actually trading before, so nobody cared about money. People just cared about basic covering some food, selling things so that they can survive, and then everything else they did for other people or to please themselves. There you go. So to sum it up, be patient. Start listing your items, you know, start approaching it professionally. If you would have a real shop, you would need to stock it up. You can't just open the whole shop and sell one item and think like, why is not nobody coming? It's like fishing. If you have one rod with a bait, you throw it, okay, maybe one fish will bite it. If you have 10, 20 rods, there's more chances. So more items you have, more chances you have. Improve the quality of your work, improve the quality of your photography, improve the quality of your descriptions, and like cleanliness of how it's written, so it's all clear and everything. If you're writing the description, it can be a text. If you're writing some sort of qualities or size or measurements, write it like this: size, length, that much, materials, this, inspiration, this. So kind of like little blocks, so it's easier for people to, if it's one big text, nobody will be reading it like, I want to know how big it is, too much text, whatever, next. People are so busy right now, and people just can't be bothered wasting time dealing with weird written text and things like that. Of course, if someone's really attached to the picture of yours, they're like, oh my god, this is so beautiful, I'm gonna read it. But if you're still floating out there with the quality of your work, with the quality of your picture, then it's important that at least your text is clear. Although it all works kind of mixed up together. It's not like if one thing is sorted, then everything else is like whatever. So as I said before, selling online is not easy up until some moment when you reach it, when more people know about you, when you have ratings on Etsy from sales and people favoriting your shop, then you kind of pop up higher up in a search. And obviously, because also, it's really important, in my opinion, to have a website or a blog where you're constantly putting your pictures and your pictures are tagged in and things like that, because with time, if you're doing it correctly, Google will start putting you in a search, and more you have written, more people and followers you gathered, more items will pop up on the first page. When I just started, I was wondering and constantly searching for myself, and it was, you know, quite frustrating. Why am I not coming up? I think I did everything, but with time, in a couple of years, you search for polymer clay and your name, or just polymer clay and like if you're doing a specific thing. If I search for polymer clay journal, I'm on the first page. If I search for polymer clay jewelry, I might be on the first or second page because there's more jewelry out there. So there you go. I think my explanation wasn't that organized, but I hope you could have, maybe you written something or watch it again and write it down. And yeah, I think that's it. Hold on, this is the last question. How does your first clay cover look like? For us beginners not to feel bad at our first attempt, what inspired you to start making covers? Okay, I'm going to reply to that one really quickly. Well, my first journal cover wasn't looking that clumsy because it wasn't the first thing I ever made, but my jewelry pieces did look really clumsy and stuff like that. Some clients even declined buying it because what they saw on the picture and what I actually provided to them was like a sky and earth, completely two different things. So perhaps if you are too scared starting something that big, practice your, I always call it handwriting. Practice your sculpt writing. Practice your sculpting until on small pieces it looks very good. You can try a big piece or something, but if it's not really looking nice, then don't worry, it's just your practice. When your hands will be ready to make things, it wouldn't matter how big the item is, you will be just doing it. So you have to condition your hands, you have to condition your clay, and you have to condition your mind to be ready to work on any size, any item, you know. When I was at university, all I knew was A4 size sketchbook piece. So when they gave me A2, which is 4 times bigger, I didn't know how to fill it in. It was too much for me. But with time, I was using A0, A1, which is double size, and I would just do things and I would know how to do that. So you get used to a bigger size with time. So start small, perfection your skills, your technique, find out your style, and then it wouldn't matter. You can, and you don't. I don't want to say don't do the big things while you're not ready. How are you gonna know that you're ready or not? You would need to make one item. I can say that my first journals, of course, were not as detailed, as more like professionally made. But my first journal was. You can actually see the link below in that video. My first journal was pretty nice, I think. It wasn't an embarrassment. It's not the most amazing journal I made, but it still asks for attention, and some people are requesting me to make custom orders looking like that journal. So, you know, it wasn't a fail. So, there. I guess that's it. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!